Hello everyone, this is Margarita with CityGal Papeterie. I have another Halloween video for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to use, if you saw my previous video, I wanted to use these little treat bags that I had. So I went ahead and snipped off the top of them. And then I inserted some scrap paper and added some stitching all around the edges. And now I'm going to attach them all to each other to make a book. This is, I guess, a little junk journal of sorts. The first 2 pages I'm going to adhere using this piece of scrap paper. I have folded it in half and I am now sewing 2 flaps on each of the pages that I have here. And I've also created a pocket from that flap. So now these 2 pages are attached to one another and I have an additional pocket in between them. I'm now going to attach the next page. I'm grabbing this piece of scrap paper and then I'm going to be sewing a hinge between the 2 pages to attach them together as well. I am going to attach these by sewing them in place. So that has been sewn on one page and I will now sew it onto the next page. And now we have 3 pages as part of our little book. We're gonna continue right on and attach the next page. I'll be cutting all these strings off after. And again, I'm just grabbing scrap papers from what I have left over from the last projects that I've been making. And once again, I'm gonna use the hinge style to attach these 2 pages. I've sewn it onto that page. And because this page is a flap, it has a part that lifts up. I'm not going to sew that one. I am just going to add double-sided tape. And then I will adhere the 2 parts together that way. So I now just have to line it up where I want it to be. And then I can press that in place. I hope you're all having some time to create some spooky crafts this season. I sure have been trying my hardest to create as much as I can. We now have 4 pages as part of this book, and I'm going to move right on to the next one. I'm going to create another pocket, kind of like I did with the first 2 pages. So I'm measuring with my eyes. I almost never use a ruler. I am leaving a little bit off the side of the page there on the left hand side. And then I'm folding it over, creasing it, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. Now I'm going to grab my bone folder and this board so that I can add another crease to my piece of paper. And once my paper is all ready, I can sew it in place or I can glue it in place. We all have options, which is great. And I've sewn the left page. Now I'm going to do the next page. And I know I kind of feel like I'm speeding right through this. It came out crooked, so I'm going to snip off that piece at the top. And then I'm going to kind of clean it up with some washi tape along the edges on the side and bottom. But yeah, this project kind of came together really quickly. I had been working on it on and off for a few days. And then I wanted to record the hinging process. And then I do also create a little cover for it. So I'm grabbing some washi tape and I'm going to add some glue to my washi tape. This way my tape will become permanent. Sometimes washi tape does not have enough adhesive on the back, and so it can lift after time. But by adding the glue stick to it, it ensures that it will not be lifting up. It will stay in place, especially since I'm using such a small amount here and I'm folding it in half. I have definitely gone through experiences where I've tried this without the glue stick and it does peel up and comes out of place. So I prefer doing it this way. So this is the bottom of that pocket. I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. If you enjoy the videos that you've been seeing here lately, I hope that you do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I am always open to suggestions and ideas. Here I'm grabbing another piece of scrap paper and folding it in half to create the hinge for the next 2 pages. And I do hope to continue pushing out 2 videos a week as long as I'm able to do that. But if I ever disappear on you guys, you already know I'm just taking care of business. And by that I mean my kids. But I do love sharing through my YouTube channel, and I love the creative community that is on here. I've added some double-sided tape to that little piece and tucked it in a spot that connects to the previous page. And now with the flap that's left, I'm going to trim it down just a little, and then I'm going to adhere that one with glue to the last page of this little booklet. Now, if you're new to my channel, I do create little mini albums like this sometimes, or junk journals. I also like creating greeting cards for different holidays and different occasions, and the occasional like paper craft embellishments. And I recently made some memory decks cards, so you'll find all kind of fun things on this channel. I'm now gonna finalize my little book by adding a spine to it. Again, I'm using a piece of scrap and I've glued it to one side. I will then wrap it around the spine and then glue it to the other side. And just to make sure that it's going to stay in place nicely, I do also run it through my sewing machine. And now I want to create a little folio for my book. So I've grabbed this 12 by 12 paper. It is a Halloween themed paper by Fancy Pants. It is their new collection. And that new collection is called Trick or Treat. I just had to look that up for a brief second. I've wrapped my paper around my book to measure it. I'm cutting off the piece that I do not need. And then I'm also going to cut off the branding strip. Oh, actually, the collection is called Happy Halloween, not Trick or Treat. So once I know what size I want and I've trimmed off what I don't need, I'm going to now fold upward because I want to create a set of pockets, just like a regular folder. And I'm giving this a soft crease, so I'm not pressing all the way down. I'm not gonna crease it into a complete fold. I just want it to be somewhat round. And once that's folded, I'm going to snip off the center of the bottom flaps. And I do this because if I don't, then when I try to put my fold up and then close it, it's gonna bunch up in the middle. So this way it's got some room to wiggle and move. And also gives the book the ability to be placed inside with the front and back flaps, or the front and back page, I should say. So you can see my little booklet fits in the pocket perfectly. I can also insert it with just the back page, and I can use the other flap for something else, or I can insert it into my folio with the front and back page. Now I have this one last page left, one last piece of my little treat bags, so I'm going to use that on the cover. I do grab a blending tool and my distress ink in old paper, and I'm just adding some shading to all of the edges of my folio. I do this to the inside as well. And then, as you can see, I've already glued my front. I'm now going to create a closure for my little folio with this piece of paper. I trimmed it down to size. I'm going to grab this crocodile corner chomper, I think that's what it's called, corner rounder. And I'm going to round all my corners. And then again, I'm going to add some blending. For this one, I blend it with black ink because the old paper was not dark enough for my liking. And once that's done, I'm going to adhere my little piece to the back with double-sided tape. And I'm just making sure that I know exactly where I want to place it and that I have it in the right direction. Now I can remove the backing. I do add 2 pieces just to make sure that it's going to be adhered really well, especially since I'm gluing over some thread in addition to the paper. And then I'm going to center that as best as I can. And then the other side, I'm going to adhere with, I'm going to put some pieces of like hook and loop closures onto it. I have these little stickies that came, I don't even know where I got these from. They came with the like toddler playbook or something. So I'm using them here. And now I like to add one side of the hook and loop closure, and then I gently place the other piece over it. And then this way, it'll go down together. They'll both be in the same spot. I hope that makes sense because it's kind of hard to explain this, but see, now when I lift it up, they are exactly where they should be to match up with the other piece. And then I decided that I wanted one in the middle, so I add one more. And again, I'm going to very gently place the opposite side, the soft side, onto the hook part. And now I'm trying to line up all 3. And that is my closure for my little folio. So there's my book all completed, and my folder is also all completed, and all that's left is the decorating part. Now I don't have the process of the decorating on video, but I do share in just a moment the entire thing now that I've completed it all and decorated it all. I added the little spider on the front cover as well. This is what the folio looks like from the front and back. And here's my little booklet inside of the folio. And here I remove it from the folio and I've decorated the inside. there are my little flaps. And here's my little book, front and back. And it's all decorated on the inside. I'm trying to use up a lot of my Halloween papers and ephemera and cutouts and stuff. So I went ahead and decorated the inside of this. And so there are pockets. I added a little pocket here, or a little tuck spot. It says which way to the candy, which is on the other page. And there's the candy. Eat candy. Evil candy. And then I added another little pocket here with one of these little vintage cutouts that I had in my stash. Here's my flap. It's got a haunted house. I could add something on the inside still, maybe a photo of this Halloween or some journaling. Here's the other pocket. And some more decorating in the pocket on the back page. Right, and we've got that last piece in the last page, which I left open at the top to create a larger pocket. And that is it. I know I sped through this, but I feel like I don't get many views on these types of videos, so I just wanted to share it with you all for whoever would be interested. But there it is. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you in the next video.